Well, we hit the live button, so we should be going. How you doing tonight, Greg?
Doing good. Trying to pull up our stream here. See the chat.
Well, I don't think anybody's going to be looking because it's mainly going to the Scout Life channel, which nobody is subscribed to, or there's a couple hundred people subscribed to, but I don't post anything here very often, so nobody probably noticed that this thing was up.
Are you doing it on 75 as well?
Yeah, I got it on both the Scout Life, which is the hiking, camping, EDC channel,
Yeah.
and then Scout 75, which is the
Okay.
portable radio channel. Mainly just to see how it works. Having these on two different YouTube channels at the same time, so it's kind of an experiment since there's probably nobody watching. But
Yeah, no problem.
yeah, but uh, our buddy Mike into MAK said he's going to miss the stream, but he'll check it out later. So
Yeah.
hey, future
I
Mike,
met
if
him
you're
down
watching.
in I met him in Dayton last year. So which is coming up in another month or so.
Yeah, he's a cool dude. I want to meet him sometime. And then Chris is here. He's in the Ham Radio Clubhouse. He's always here. Then we got James. Kid table is on. Okay. The lamp is against the wall. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, it's code.
Well, it's nice to see you, James. We're just kind of screwing around. What I'm doing is a reboot of what we did was like a year and a half ago. On the Scout Life channel, I think it was called something else that time. I renamed that channel about 3 or 4 times, but the whole idea was to do a live unboxing of some type of EDC item, whether it's a knife or a flashlight or what have you. Do a first impressions and then carry it every day for a month, and then come back on and say, "Hey, this is it after a month." So, okay.
Yeah.
Ham Radio Kids table is on. Was that like a youth on the air type thing or something?
I think he's talking about, when the kids have to sit at a different table than the adults. So I think he's
Yeah,
I think he's making a joke on us acting the fool.
sure. Okay. Well, something else is on. Well, it's YouTube. There's a thousand live streams on all the time, so it is what it is.
Oh, or maybe there's another show.
Yeah, I don't know. Nothing I watch or I've heard of, so but doesn't mean it's not good. But back anyways, we would do a video of a live video. I think we did like 2 of them. A quick review of initial impressions, and then moved on to other shit. And then a month later, come back and give a feedback. So we're gonna try that again. I did that before of just myself. Now I'm gonna do it with at least Greg and other people that want to hop in. And how tonight's selection came about, let me switch my cameras, is Greg and I were talking about knives, and I kind of went through my spiel how, I'm your typical country kid, always have a pocket knife, and I've always had cheap ones until a few years ago somebody talked me into buying a Benchmade. I thought that was fun. And I bought saved up some money and bought a few other pocket knives to try out. And 2 of them were, for me, expensive. For knife connoisseurs, they're not. But a couple of these Spydercos, which friends of mine were huge into. I didn't get the appeal. Because to be honest, most of the Spyderco knives I think are pretty ugly because the back is usually just straight. So it looks like I just aesthetically it looked stupid to me.
They look stupid,
but that's just my opinion. I didn't like the look of them. They're high quality knives and everything. But then I found this one. This one's the Mantis 2. And it has more of like a leaf shaped profile to it, and I thought, oh, that looks kind of nice. I'll pick one up. And then before this, like I said, I pretty much just had cheapo knives. Get this guy, and I'm being very cautious to flip it because I don't want to be bleeding in the first 10 minutes of the video. But the quality of these things, they got the nice G10 scales on them, the lock, all the gimping and everything. I mean, this is just a well-built knife, and I'm like, okay, I get it. I get the fuss for these quality knives or these higher expensive knives. And then I also picked up this other Spyderco Little Native, just a smaller knife. I like this one a lot, especially like when I'm wearing doctor style pants for work, when I don't have the big pockets, so it doesn't take up as much space. Then also also at work, the smaller knife doesn't draw any unwanted attention from people that,
Yeah.
city people that would freak out.
Hey, is that a Spyderco in your pocket?
Yeah, exactly. But I personally, this is about as big of a pocket knife I would want. Otherwise, I guess a little too unwieldy. But this is a nice sized knife for me. So that's where I'm at right now. Is these two are pretty much my rotation. I got that bench made.
Can you look at that? So, the question I have on the Spyderco,
Yeah,
is that made in Taiwan? Is that where it's made? Does it?
both of these are made in Golden, Colorado.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the other thing I learned is, if I could zoom in here. Some are made in the U.S., some are made in Taiwan.
So my introduction to Spyderco was Nothing Fancy.
Yeah.
You probably remember him.
Oh yeah.
So he came out with one on the Tenacious, which I think is it was made in Taiwan, so you could get it cheaper. At the time it was probably $40. They're probably somewhere between 40 and 50 now.
Yep.
Fantastic knife. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, and yeah, these two are both made in the U.S. I don't think I went out of my way to make sure they were made in the U.S., but I do prefer that. And
yeah, I think that's where it saves the money.
Yeah.
So where mine costs $30.
Mm-hmm.
Yours
And
probably
I
costs
would not
$70.
knock one from Taiwan. A friend of mine that's in the Spydercos, most of his are Taiwan, and they are built very well. So I would.
And I don't have one in front of me. They're at the house, but they could have been Spyderco made in China too, but I think it's Taiwan.
Yeah.
They give it's a fantastic knife, and I went from the Tenacious to the Resilience, which is the same one. They look just like the ones you have. The Resilience was longer, probably a 4-inch blade or something. It was big.
Right.
Used that for about a month, and I lost it. Chucked it in the baler at work.
Yeah.
So never replaced it. But the Tenacious I had, my wife likes, running trails here at the state park, and she doesn't want to, she doesn't like weight on her, so she doesn't want to carry a gun or a stun gun. She's tried them all. So she started using my Spyderco Tenacious, because, it had a spider on it. So she thought that was cool.
Right.
And eventually the pocket clip worked itself out, and the pocket clip fell out, and haven't replaced it yet, but still have the knife. And we ended up a couple years ago at an NRA show and bought her another Spyderco. It was a Emerson Spyderco, collaboration.
Oh, sure.
Yep. Probably it was a little bit high dollar. It's not a G10 grip. It's kind of the rubberized plastic grip. And it looks, she liked it a lot, and I think it ended up costing like $130 or something. It was crazy expensive for a knife for me, but she uses it quite a bit, so it's worth it for her.
Yeah, and that's the thing with, like my budget's the same way. For me, these two Spydercos are crazy expensive, but if you get into knives, these things are relatively cheap. You get that way with any of your hobbies. for the guys watching this on the Scout 75, you know the same story. Replace pocket knives with handheld radios, from the Baofangs up to the Kenwoods. They all do the same function. You'll pay a lot of money sometimes just for a brand name, but if that's your thing, it's worth it. If it's not your thing, it's not. It's just find what works for you. And for me, I'm more of cost is definitely a factor, but I'm more into what I'm getting as a knife, and I'm not a snob with my stuff or tools. If I find something that's inexpensive that does everything I need and it's not the top brand, I'm fine with that because I just want something that works. And that
Yes.
kind of goes
Yeah.
back to our conversation that's spurred this is, I said, these are for me expensive knives. I usually just have something cheap. Then you brought up, let me switch cameras again, to this brand of knife that we're going to go over here. Debate on what's pronounced CIVIVI, CIVIVI. I don't know. I've been saying CIVIVI.
CIVIVI.
What did the internet tell you it's called?
CIVIVI.
It is CIVIVI?
Okay. CVV or CIVIVI, either one.
CIVIVI.
It gave 4 options. They all
kind of like data and Caribbean and Caribbean. They're both right, even though that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But anyway, Greg here recommended this brand to me, saying that it is, as you can see here, made in China. It's a Chinese brand, and that is telling us a Chinese brand because they seem to just throw a couple letters together and that's the name. But you said that you've had a couple knives from here and the quality was good.
I didn't have a knife. A friend of mine had the knife, and then I was just like, man, this thing's pretty good. And it's not this model that we got here, but it was a different model, and looked it up, and I was just like, hey, that's affordable and feels great, and let's check them out.
Sure. Yeah, and that, as you can see here, Greg and I do a lot of talking, and both of us don't do a lot of remembering because I couldn't remember if you had the knife or not. But I did plug in the name into the old Amazon, and I picked, and I see they have a range of prices from like $20 to $100. I think they might have some more expensive ones. I didn't really look at that, but I just kind of looked for something that was fairly moderately priced, and it looked cool. That was the whole criteria I did. I don't really remember what it was for like steel types or anything. I just went for something that looked pretty cool. And this is the CIVIVI Elementum is the name. I haven't took it out of the box yet. Greg and me and your brother Norm were chatting online, and we all bought them. I think we all bought like a different color one. And
yep.
And 2 of the 3 of us are here. You opened yours up already. I haven't. So
yeah, so I haven't used it, but I opened it just to check out the color of it, and been waiting. How long have we had these things? Almost a month now.
Yeah,
so
a month or 2.
Yeah, waiting to get to EDC it and try it out and give it a whirl. But
it's funny because after we decided we're going to do this, we got the knife. We're just trying to pick a time. Our buddy here, Mike, I noticed like last week, he released a video on his ham radio channel going over some of the knives that he likes to carry when he does on the air activations and stuff. Because Mike's a knife guy, and I should have reached out to him tonight. Mike, when you watch this on replay, we're going to do this again probably like the middle. Yeah, it'll be a month. So it'll be like the middle Wednesday of April. If you want to join us, you know how to get a hold of me. We'll get you on the show because you know a lot about knives. And I remember, I think it was on the Hammerhill Clubhouse Discord that I posted that I was going to do some EDC stuff on a different channel if anybody was interested. And Mike did say he was interested. So there you go, Mike. We'll hook up. But anyway, we all got these. You've looked at them. I haven't yet. So here's the box. Should we get to the main event and open this
Yeah,
up?
I'm looking to see what you think about it
Okay.
because I'm a couple steps. I'm up to the step of not using it. So
Okay. Well, you
from what
mentioned
I
the other
noticed,
night when we were watching the clubhouse. We keep bringing up the clubhouse.
yeah,
Hammer Clubhouse is a fun live stream if you want to check out if you haven't heard of them.
yeah, I mentioned to you that box. What do you think about the box here?
The box is nice. It has kind of so far it has kind of a Japanese influence. When you ever buy anything that's Japanese made, typically their packaging is phenomenal, and they're really big into the presentation. Opening the box and everything, unboxing is an experience. So
Yeah,
I get a
I
little
didn't
bit
think
of
about it before, but it's from the feel of this, maybe it's been a while since I've opened a new iPhone, but does the box kind of have that same texture?
I don't know.
Like
I'm an
it's
I
like a super smooth,
Yeah.
like doesn't feel like cardboard material.
Nope.
They coat it with something.
No. You had me laughing last night when you said this is a nice feeling box. I go,
Yeah.
all right. So the box is all the way. Okay,
Yeah.
you're telling me. Let me get.
I like box.
Yep. So you were saying that it comes in a nice case, and I this isn't what I expected. I was expecting just like a little plastic thing. So it's nice. Feels padded nylon case.
Yeah. Maybe take it out and use it for holding connectors or something for
Yeah.
radio, like
Oh,
repurpose that because my knife's
that's
never going to go back in there. You
yeah.
know what I
That's the
mean?
thing for EDC guys. That's another reason why I'm doing this on two channels. Is there's a lot of correlation between uh, backpacking and hiking and EDC type guys and ham radio is repurposing stuff. And we're all gear junkies, and you'll buy something and you use it, and you buy something else and you use the case that came for something else for it. And so, but I digress. So it has a decent zipper. Seems to open up all right. We got a sticker, so that'll go on something.
Yeah. I appreciate the sticker, even if I'm not going to use it. I still want it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Love your new knife. I don't know. I haven't even seen it yet. Oh, that's a little sticker too.
I'm not sure if that's a sticker or just a card, but it'd be cool if it is a sticker. I wasn't able to tell.
I think it's a sticker. All
Sweet.
right. So, product use and warranty. That go right in the trash. I've never filled a warranty card on anything.
No, never.
You get a nice
Kleenex.
cloth. Yeah, Kleenex. Dude wipe in emergency. Here's okay, so I got the Elementum, so that's the brand, the model I got. Looks like it's just some advertisement for other knives, so I'll throw that away before I buy a bunch more. All right, main event. Oh, the inside it's got like fake fur in there.
Yeah, it's insane. It feels really nice, right? Get rid of this thing. And then like this is at least $5 or something. You know what I mean? Take that off the price. I don't like, but this is a nice case. Repurpose it for something you'll use it for, connectors. Or,
I mean,
you know what I mean?
I gotta tell you, I haven't even got to the knife yet, and I'm pretty impressed. You get this nice glass wiping cloth type thing, a couple of stickers, a real nice case. It's pretty cool. All right, so here's the knife. And yeah, I got the olive drab G10. Feels good. Color's nice. We got a lanyard. Belt clip.
Lanyard hole, not lanyard, but the hole for if you wanted to add one. And I got the it was the gray.
Sure. I don't have the best lighting here, but it's kind of an OD green. Yeah. Lanyard hole. That's another reason why Greg's here, because he translates from Shane to English. So
I translate anything from Norm to Shane and everything in between.
And Norm has super excited, geeking out. I got a new toy, Norm, to I've been drinking for 17 hours straight.
Yeah.
Norm.
Norm got the maroon
Okay.
G10 handles with the black blade.
Okay.
So still the same D2 steel,
Mm-hmm.
but just, powder
Okay.
coated or whatever. And
Sure.
it's super sharp.
Yep.
Super sharp looking.
So the body of the blade here, you can see it's kind of a brushed stainless steel look. It looks pretty nice. I mean, the fit and finish seems all right. Belt clips, black anodized. There's 2 screw holes holding it in place.
Yeah. Deep pocket carry. So
Yep.
I do prefer that.
Yep. The one knock I have so far is that's the only option for mounting it. If you're a lefty or want to keep it in your left pocket, your SOL. If you're one of those freaks that puts your knife tip down, your SOL.
Oh man. Like I don't mind having the option to do tip down, like a lot of
Yep.
knives do. But, don't make it tip down only.
Yeah. Where you see the Spyderco, the Manus 2, you got the option to mount it left-handed or right-handed, but not tip up or tip down. The little native, that one goes, the smaller knife goes all out where it's tip up, tip down, left or right. So that's a minor knock for me because I'm a tip down right hand pocket kind of guy, so I wouldn't change it. But if you're a lefty or if you prefer it tip up, or excuse me, tip up, if you prefer it tip down, this may not be the knife for you. But okay, so it's got the little.
It's a lot of tip talk. I get confused.
I know, I confuse myself. So it's got the little catch here to flip it, and we'll just. Holy cow! Look at that, folks. 0 practice. Okay, we got the little. So the lock is the little lever lock on the bottom. That's not a lever lock. What's that lock style?
Liner lock.
Liner lock. Thank you. It's been a while since I talked knives, folks. So all my terminology is gone. So it's got the liner lock, but wow, that action is.
I tried to do my. Yeah.
That is awesome. All right.
So one thing, this it has the flipper on the end. That's the only way to open this. It doesn't have a thumb stud.
Yep.
Flipper only, which I prefer both. I like having. Yeah, Norm.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of a liner lock. I really like the axis locks, like on a lot of Benchmades and this Spyderco, because again, it's ambidextrous, or you can use it with both hands, whichever way you want to refer to it. Works single-handedly. See, I can just. I gotta be a good YouTuber, make sure I'm in frame. I'm just talking to myself here, but I am. All right. So single-handed operation, that's kind of nice. With the little native, I also like this style too, with the bar lock across the top, because that's nice and secure. That thing ain't going anywhere. Takes 2 hands to operate, and I do this one slow because this knife I have cut myself with just being so small. But back to the bar lock, it's nice and positive. It ain't going anywhere. Needs 2 hands to work, but there's always a compromise. Not a fan of the liner lock, but that's mostly personal preference. Nice
yes.
and open.
So I have, most of my favorite knives are liner lock. I got a couple Emersons, so you're spending money for that.
Yep.
I've never had a liner lock fail.
Emerson expensive knives.
Yeah, except for I've never had a liner lock fail except on the Emerson, which is one of my most expensive knives.
Okay.
and it ended up closing on me, and it was so sharp it went through my fingernail and cut into my finger.
Ouch.
Probably the worst pain, the most bleeding I've ever seen come out of my hand.
All right.
And I still don't trust that knife to this day. I kept it. I'll still use it, but I won't do anything too crazy with it. Right, as long as
Right.
I'm forcing it,
Yep.
down with the blade back, it's fine.
All right. So I'm just fondling my knife here. Has some gimping on the top here for your thumb. Seems to fit pretty nice.
Shane calls it gimping. I call it jimping, but either way.
I was wondering if you'd catch that. Gimping. I like to say that just to make people get a little squeamish. Has a nice choil here, so you can sharpen the whole thing. I would not choke up on this. That looks like a good way to cut my thumb. So stay back here. You can't choke up on it. Nice finish on it.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
impressed.
that thing's sharp.
I'm impressed.
Yeah.
Look at the blade centering on it. Like
Mhm.
mine's dead nuts on. Like it can't get better. So I don't know how yours is looking right out of the box, but right there, right?
Yeah, it's hard to get on camera, but maybe you can see if you just look at just the tip. Just the tip.
It's right in there.
Yeah, this is pretty this is a very nice knife. I love that action. Holy cow. That thing it's just buttery smooth.
So one thing, when I was talking to Norm, since he got one, he went to the website. We ordered these through Amazon,
Yeah.
and so we had like four options, right? There was like a black, green, gray, red, and purple. I don't know why purple, but
Yeah.
I guess for the kids. Um, but you go to the website and they're pretty much close to the same price. They had a lot more options. They had one with a micarta grip, instead of the G10, and I do like that. And if I was going to rebuy this, I would have just ordered from the site and go with the micarta because
Yeah.
I'm just a fan.
Jason, I'm right there with you. They're a utility tool, and like Ed Green used to say, any tool's the right tool if you're handy. So use it as is. But yeah, this thing will probably. I mean, and I didn't talk about the price. I think at the time when we ordered this was around $50. Um, obviously, if the tariffs and the way the world is now, it's going to
Still the same
fluctuate.
price right now today.
Mhm.
I've checked it out just to see if they added any more colors or anything. It's all still the same.
Sure.
So hasn't hit yet.
All right. So where's the damn box? What's the name of this thing again?
CIVIVI.
Yeah,
CIVIVI.
but Elementum. Um.
Also, I noticed the other day Walmart sells the Elementum for the same price, $50.
Oh yeah.
They have them there, and I don't know the colors. They had the
Yep.
black for sure, but um,
To answer Norm's
there's
question, I think you're talking Marcarta for a grip that starts with M. But I believe these are G10.
yeah, micarta, Micarta, like the Magna Carta, but it's just a micarta.
Right. All right.
That's for Norm.
Well, here. Let me
Go to the website. You got all kinds of controls on there, right?
I am working on going to here we go. Allow me to share screen. Yeah, so here we go. This is the one that we bought. But pert near a month ago exactly. CIVIVI knives. It is a Elementum is the name. We got G10 handles, D2 satin blade. Okay, I was wondering what the blade steel was. I couldn't remember. So it's a D2. That's a tool steel, nice and hard. It is a high carbon tool steel, so you have to make sure you don't get it rusty. But most people take care of their knives somewhat good. G10 handles, like we mentioned, just under a 3-inch blade. I got the green. It comes in black. Comes in this.
Yeah, that's the norm. That's the Norm's knife there.
Yep. Okay, so yeah, it has a nice, like a black oxide finish on it. That's pretty cool. What's this one?
Clear. It's a
Clear.
clear
Lexan. Okay,
handle.
so it's got a
Yeah.
plastic handle. That's kind of cool.
So you can see the the liner and stuff through it.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. I should have looked through it a little more. And
That's the one I got.
okay, you got the gray, and then there's a purple. So you got, at least off of Amazon, you have 4 color options in G10, and then you have a Lexan plastic see-through handle, which is actually kind of cool. Huh. All around $50. So
Yeah, what's the reviews getting off of this and how many?
we got close to 3,800 reviews, and it's a 4.7. So,
Yeah. Yeah, pretty solid.
yeah. So if I gotta do the right thing here. Why can't I figure out how? Why am I not seeing this? Bear with me while I have some technical difficulties. Where do I share a link? Oh,
Sure.
hey, maybe I gotta click the big yellow button that says "Get link." Yeah, I'm an idiot. So if anyone is interested, there's an Amazon link.
Yeah, and also check out the CIVIVI website for more options because
Yep.
they actually have them. I can't remember. They have different blade shapes too. Maybe a Tanto, maybe.
Sure.
But I know they have different blade shapes as well for the
Okay.
Elementum.
For the Elementum.
Yeah, and
Okay.
it goes up from 50. Like 50 is kind of like the bare bones, and then it might go
Yep.
up to $70 or something. But
All right. So I will carry this for a month, and use it. I mean, that is just sweet. That is. I haven't had much luck with flippers before, but they were the El Cheapo ones. But that action is just awesome.
so I like the flippers. I do like
Yep.
having the option of the thumb stud as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be nice if it had a thumb stud. Yeah, my main gripe is a liner lock. I'd like to see an axis lock or bar lock.
They do offer an Axis style lock on the
Yeah.
website too.
Oh, really?
So maybe something we'll look at in the future. But yeah, they do offer that. It might be like can't remember. It might be like the Elementum 2, maybe.
Sure.
Because I
Well,
looked
like I
after we bought it. This was kind of our introduction, and then
yeah,
once I got it, I was like, well, let's see what else these guys have.
like I said in the beginning, if you may have missed it, I did zero research on this brand. I typed in Civivi into Google and Amazon, and I scrolled through, and this knife, the profile of it caught my eye. And I said, "All right, that one's $50. I can take a chance on that." I didn't spend more than 3 minutes looking at options. So actually, I didn't spend more than 30 seconds looking at options. This one caught my eye within a minute and was like, "All right, I'll go with this one."
So when this knife came in, I haven't used it yet, but looked
Mhm.
at it, checked it out. So I compared it to my most carried EDC here for a while, which is this is a Ganzo from Amazon, Chinese knife.
Yep.
They were kind of like the first knife that you could get for good price,
Mhm.
after before all these other companies were coming out.
Yep.
And so it's G10 scale on one side, liner lock
Mhm.
stainless, kind of like, Kershaw does this. And,
Mhm.
um, but to me, it's a D2 still as well. So you do have to, make sure it's dry. I got a couple pits in it where
Yeah.
I ended up, getting drunk at a camp out and
You?
cut, cutting some pork off the fire and
Yeah.
didn't clean it for a couple days and
Yep.
got a few pits and I could work it out, but
Yep.
I'm not worried about it.
And
Um,
that's the thing with D2. It's a great steel. Um, we use it a little bit in my industry with uh plastic injection and liquid silicone molds. It's easy to work with. It can get to a very hard, high hardness on the Rockwell scale. Holds an edge very well. Easy to sharp. Um, Both those great features comes to downside that is a little bit high maintenance. It will rust on you easily. So it does require you to keep it clean, keep it oiled, keep it maintained. It's not uh, use it and forget it. But
yeah, and that might
with
be
that,
something with the coated blades might help out with as well, like the
yeah,
one Norm got.
yeah, that's a good point. The coatings will help, but that's the downside of D2 steel. It seems like the more positives something has, it has negatives that counteract it. Holds an edge, easy to sharpen, uh, but it will rust on you by just looking at it. So
Yeah.
I like this knife.
So
Oh,
what I was gonna compare to was, my favorite EDC
yep.
to this one. So definitely a little shorter, right, in the blade and the handle length. So I think, with my big paws,
Hmm.
this might, I wouldn't say be an issue, but I'll see if it ends up being something that, I'm not used to because I haven't used it yet. It's
Yep.
small for me.
Yep.
Um,
But one thing
but it feels good.
I had this brought up, but we keep rambling and talking over ourselves here. Our buddy Tom Tingle Oscar Mike has a fantastic uh, ham radio related YouTube channel. He brought up that it's hard to trust Amazon reviews, and that's a great point. We just kind of glanced over that it had like 3,800 reviews and it's 4.7. But if you read a lot of those reviews, well, half of them are just fake, or I want to say half of them, but a good percentage of them are fake and another good percentage are just stupid, where it'd be like, I ordered it yesterday. I can't wait till it gets here. 5 stars, you know.
Yeah, it's like when you're reading a gun review from like Bud's Gun Shop or Palmetto State, and they're like, "Hey, this thing feels nice. Can't wait to get to the range. Five
Yeah,
stars."
yeah, exactly. You get that too. So yeah, read some of the 5 stars and see is it really what it is, and also read some of the 1 stars because it could be, you know, it took 4 days to get here instead of 3, 1 star, some of that stuff. So I always take reviews as a with a grain of salt, and obviously take my input here and Greg's with a truckload of salt. We just kind of winging it here, but we're just giving you what we think about it.
Norm asked the question down there.
Yeah. What do you recommend for removing light rust from a steel blade? Well, Norm, if it's like a very, very light rust, the best thing you can do is just get rid of it and send it to me. I'm a authorized rusty knife disposal. I will get rid of it in a ethical and environmental friendly way. Or for me, I just if it's real light, um, it'll basically can rub off with some oil. you put some your uh basically like any gun oil or cutting oil that you have. A gun oil that if you're a gun guy and you have any of your gun oils, your lubricating oils will work. Knife sharpening oils, and just rub it with a cloth, and sometimes that will take off a real light surface rust. Um, Otherwise, like some light scouring pads or steel wool can take it off too. I wouldn't get too crazy with it.
You haven't had much issues. Like, so I said this thing, it literally like was coated with barbecue sauce and pork juice for a long time and just barely got a few little marks. I don't know if you
Yep.
can see that in there. You see those 3 little spots. I'm not worried about it. It's not affecting it. It's not spreading.
Show that again.
I did. What's that?
Show that again.
See
Let
if
me embiggen you. There you go.
do I get the focus here on camera? And
Oh, yeah,
so
you can
you
see it.
see those like 3 spots there.
Yeah.
Not taking much away, but it's just you notice it if you're looking.
Right.
But it hasn't bothered me, and it you can't feel it. It's nothing. But the only experience I've really taken off some surface rust from a shotgun. I watched a YouTube video and it said use a brass brush,
Mm-hmm.
and you know what I mean. It'll take off the rust and won't remove the bluing
Yep.
from it, and it worked. It worked fantastic. So
Yeah, that would be.
maybe brass
Yep,
brush.
I would recommend brass brush. Like would be better before steel wool because it is a little softer metal. The like a Brillo pad. The green scouring pads for your dishes that are basically plastic. Those would work well too. Something, yeah, steel wool would probably be the next level, but with very light pressure. You wouldn't be like gouging into it. Just a nice light pressure. Work that oil into it. What else you got?
Well, so I don't know. I got all kinds of stuff.
Well, you
Nothing, nothing the show needs, but
no, just yak around. Yep, Jason knows what we're talking about. Start off with a nylon brush and a little solvent like a CLP. That's Yep. Whatever, there's multiple methods. They're all about the same, but the general logic is start easy. Do with the soft, like a nylon brush, your green scouring pad, then step up to a brass, that kind of thing. Use light pressure and build. Just take it easy. But yeah, looking more at this thing. Let me look at the camera, not the knife, but I mean, the scales are centered nicely on it. They're pretty uniform in thickness. I mean, this is a pretty well made knife.
yeah, the tip, is not too thin. I don't have any worries about that breaking off on anything. Just for normal EDC issues, you don't want to pry with it or use it as a flathead.
Yep. And forgive me, I don't have the best camera or lighting, but yeah, that's a decent size.
I've seen knife reviews before. I know I haven't done one, but most of the time they get out a piece of paper and start
Mm-hmm.
hacking at it. You got a piece of paper there and want to hack at it?
Yep. Yep. Jason knows where it's at. My dad and grandpa were machinists. I've been in the mold making trade. I'm never a mold maker, but you hang around with a skilled machinist or a tool maker and stuff, and uh, a lot of what they do is just art and it's just art and takes a lot of patience, and that's why they all drink and swear a lot because Yeah, this is a nice little knife.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And
Oh, I think that was my
you
first
know,
bad flick. That's because I was too busy watching the camera and not looking at the knife. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm having fun. Yeah, that thing's. Yep, if it had an axis lock, this thing would be a fidget toy for sure.
yeah, I'm curious now. I need to look it up because I think somebody had your idea and they came out with that knife, and I'll figure it out. And
What this knife?
what the axis lock?
Okay. All right, so
Yeah, so they have the Elementum 2, and it's not an axis lock, but I'm sure it's close to it, but it's a push button lock back there where the axis would be, the Benchmade axis lock. I think Benchmade owns that trademark for axis lock. Is that correct?
I don't know. I just always call them that.
Yeah.
Engineers can learn 2 or 3 million things from a good tool and die maker. That's for sure.
So they do have that. Maybe that's one we'll check out one day.
Yeah, well, all right, so we're going to be carrying this. I'm going to carry this thing every day for the next 30 days, month or so. You going to do the same?
And I'll do the same.
All right. Maybe your brother will do the same and he can join us if he wants, or anybody else. Drop me a line if you're interested in joining us for this kind of stuff. Just dinking around. Carry this knife for. Oh well. I gotta do the other test. Can't really see it, but let me get great footage here. Yeah, if it's okay. The clip works. You have to take my word for it, but the clip works. It is fairly narrow, so it doesn't take up too much room in the pocket. It's fairly thin.
It is. I think it's very thin compared to even this knife, where I thought I love this one because I thought it was thin, and this is even thinner than it. So
yeah,
which is great because I don't carry just a pocket knife, and I carry it on my right side, but I also place other stuff in that pocket. And if you have too big of a knife, it gets in your way from entering your pocket. So
yeah,
I
it
think
is just a scooch thinner, and it's light. Maybe that I can do some more information for it, as far as dimensions and weights and everything. But it's a fairly light knife. I just love that action. Holy cow, that thing is just slick. I'm impressed. And then I do it dud. All right.
So I think we're hitting the end. So I know we come up with some ideas for the next one. So we're going to carry it for a month, right? And do a follow up.
Yeah, we'll carry it for a month, do a follow up. Yeah, we're 49 minutes in. We probably had this knife out for a good 35, 40 minutes. Neither of us are bleeding, so let's keep it that way. Yeah, we'll carry it for a month. We'll come back. What do you want to do for the next carry item?
I don't know. It's up to you. Maybe you could ask some people that watch this video and leave a comment.
There you go.
Because we have 30 days. So if it's something, I don't want to get into, I want to keep it kind of budget friendly. So
yeah,
I can't afford every month to, buy something that's a couple $100, but around that $50 price point every month.
Yeah.
And that's kind of, there's so much gear out there now that's around that price point. That's good.
Yeah.
at least for now.
Yeah, for
I
now.
think we could come up with some pretty good ideas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What we're thinking is, EDC items. Obviously, flashlights, pocket knives, multi tools, uh, watches. Some type of a tool. Uh, that kind of stuff. Something, but definitely budget friendly because we're not going to be several $100s for something. But I know we're looking at like instead of just a pocket knife, a box cutter knife, you know, utility blade knife. That is just sick. That kind of stuff. Any ideas? We're open for it. I would love it to be cost effective, something useful.
Yep. So if anybody has any ideas, something they've bought that they think is,
Mm-hmm.
money well spent, put
Yep.
something in the chat and in the comment section.
Mm-hmm.
When we have time, we could look it up and see if we're interested and check it out.
All right. I know we were talking yeah, let me sure.
While you're
This
looking
guy.
for it, this nice CIVIVI box that I love the feeling of going in the trash. Just went straight in the trash. I don't need more boxes.
We were talking about this, speaking of old light, the old knife, uh
Yeah.
utility knife, something like that, $25. That'd be oh whoa! I didn't see that one. When we're looking, we had the green. Oh, they got titanium for $65. That's silly.
Yep. Like I said, I use the box cutter for work every day.
Mm-hmm.
So 50 hours a week, that's what's on me is a box cutter.
Yep.
So it might be something look into.
Yeah.
This pocket knife is what's on me when I get off work.
Yep. Yeah. Maybe we'll have to
So
look
most
at
of my
something.
most of my time is with the box cutter.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I will carry this for the next month. Maybe I'll make a standalone video on it within the next month, just given some overall dimensions and everything like that to kind of complement it, because I'm sure it'll be just a cluster of me trying to weigh and measure stuff here on TV or on a live stream. Uh, so, but I got I think about 7 YouTube videos that I've been editing that I haven't finished that are months old. So don't hold me to that. We'll see how it goes. My biggest concern is the belt clip, if that stays in place and how it overall functions. But yeah, that'll be fun.
Yeah, one thing before you drop it off is the belt clip is important. It's ridiculous, out of the knives I've had is how those screws work themselves out.
Oh yeah.
So, blue Loctite, of course, right? But I have companies, not my Spyderco and not one of my Gonzo knives. Not I haven't had an issue with this one, but I have another one, and they worked itself out. And you don't realize that pocket clip falls off because it drops in your pocket, not a
Yep.
lot of weight, and all of a sudden you're gone. And I've looked up for my Spyderco. It's $30 for a new pocket clip for a knife I spent about that much money for altogether. So is it worth doing? Probably
Mm-hmm.
not.
Yeah. Yeah, you never know. Yeah, this thing's pretty cool. So we'll give it a good workout. I think 30, roughly a month it'll be a good tell for some wear and tear, and like you said, stuff works itself out. We'll play it from there. Cool.
Good deal.
Well, I think we bored enough people.
Yeah. So, only thing I gotta say is, anybody still watching, if they're interested, check out Shacking Off Friday night for ham radio trivia.
Oh, that's right. I forgot
So
about that. I
it's
was going to bring that up.
it's 7 Central, 8 Eastern.
Yep. Normally our friend Kyle does ham radio trivia. He's busy, so Greg's brother Norm asked him if he could carry the torch for a little while he was on hiatus, and Kyle said, "Please do." So Norm put a lot of effort. He's got the layout and the setup, so it's same look and feel as the program that Kyle had, using that same app for the quiz. So if you like the ham radio trivia that Kyle did, the Shacking Off version will be,
Yeah. It's just like Kyle's, but better.
no Kyle. So that sounded mean. I'm sorry about that, Kyle. I didn't mean it that way. Let me try one thing here. Oh, never mind. I can't do that. Oh, sorry. I was seeing if I could end the stream on one channel and not the other, because I could see doing like, if you want to keep it to an hour but have like an after chat someplace else, you can do that. Sorry, folks, just doing some behind the scenes stuff here. All right, we'll end it. Thanks, Greg. This was fun. Hopefully,
Yeah.
we didn't bore people to death, and it looks like a few people
It
watched.
doesn't matter.
So,
I liked it.
yeah, we usually hang around and bullshit like this anyway, so we might as well put it on YouTube. Have a good
That's
one,
right.
folks. Thanks for watching.
See ya.